Who finally made you come out of your shell? Who finally made you feel seen? I didn't expect anything to change when I moved to a new town right before junior year. I figured I'd keep my head down like always and be the weird, quiet kid again. I barely said 2 words in any of my classes in the first week. I'd sit in the back, scribbling in my notebook or pretending to read, just so I wouldn't have to make eye contact with anyone. Then, in English class, she plopped down next to me, Emma. She wore this bright yellow hoodie that made her look even more alive than usual. She smiled like she knew some secret and asked if I did the reading. I muttered something and hoped she'd move on, but she didn't. She kept talking to me every day. Random stuff, too. Like what I thought about aliens or if I preferred waffles or pancakes. Stuff that didn't seem important but somehow felt like it mattered when it was her asking. At first, I barely answered, but she didn't seem to care. She'd just keep the conversation going, throwing out stories about her friends or telling me about the weird things her dog did. Her laugh would sneak into my head long after class ended. We started texting. It started with homework stuff, but somehow turned into late-night conversations about dreams we had or dumb movies we loved. One night, we ended up on the phone until 3 a.m., just talking about what we'd do if we won the lottery. She said she'd open an animal sanctuary. I told her I'd buy a bookstore and name it after my cat. She thought that was the cutest thing ever, and I swear I couldn't stop smiling like an idiot after we hung up. It was little things at first, like how she'd send a meme she thought I'd like, or how she'd save a seat for me in class without saying anything. How she remembered tiny details about stuff I liked even when I barely mentioned it. Every time my phone buzzed and it was her name, my stomach did this stupid flip I couldn't control. We didn't like the same music or the same movies. She was all about pop songs and reality TV, and I was more into indie bands and documentaries. But she made me playlists anyway, full of songs with cheesy lyrics about falling in love, and I'd listen to them on repeat without even realizing it. I started watching her favorite shows just so we could talk more. She read one of my favorite books, even though she said it was boring halfway through. It didn't matter. We just fit. Of course, people noticed. Rumors started flying around school. Whenever someone teased me about it, I laughed it off. I told myself she was just being nice. That's what nice people did. They didn't fall for the weird, awkward kid who couldn't even make eye contact most days. Then she invited me to hang out with her and her best friend Alyssa. We grabbed ice cream at this little spot downtown. Alyssa kept smirking at us the whole time like she knew something I didn't. At one point, she straight up asked if we were dating. I choked on my spoonful of mint chocolate chip and blurted out, "No way, it'd never work out." My face felt like it was on fire. Emma laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes like usual. We walked home after. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that made your skin itch. She kept a little distance between us, hands shoved deep into her hoodie pockets. When we got to her house, she stopped in front of the porch and stood there. I asked if she was okay, and she looked up at me with these watery eyes that made my chest ache. Then she just crumbled, started crying, shoulders shaking. "Did you really mean that?" she asked, her voice cracking. "That it would never work?" I froze. Everything inside me wanted to fix it, but I didn't know how. I stammered out that I didn't mean it like that I just figured she could never feel the same, that I was in love with her but too scared to believe it could ever happen. She let out this breathy laugh, wiped her eyes with her sleeve, and shook her head. "You're so stupid," she said, then grabbed my face and kissed me. Right there under the flickering streetlight, everything finally made sense.